As we come to the end of 2019, it seems only right that we have a look through some of the players that have really shone at Huddersfield Town this decade, and we decided to put that into an 11 for you. So this is ExaminerLive's Huddersfield Town Team of the Decade. First up in goal, we've got Alex Smithies. The hometown boy came through from the academy in 2007 and made more appearances in the 2010s than any other Town player, with 217 of his 274 senior outings for the club coming this decade. Although it is worth noting that Jonathan Hogg will reach 218 if he appears in all of Town's remaining games of this year. That was ultimately the decider between Smithies and Jonas Lösel. At time of writing, a poll asking the fans to pick between the two was sitting exactly 50-50. Besides which, has Jonas Lösel ever scored the decisive penalty kick in a penalty shootout? As the Eckers like. Smithies has, and he was mint in Football Manager. What more do you want from a Huddersfield lad? At right back, we've gone for Tommy Smith. Now, he arrived from Manchester City in 2012 and would go on to rack up precisely 200 appearances for the Terriers before leaving for Stoke City this summer. Smith dominated the right flank during that glorious promotion season 2016-17 and wore the captain's armband for the lion's share of their games that season, including the playoff final that secured Town's place in the Premier League, where he kept the captain's armband until about 2 months before the end of the season. A really obvious choice for our first centre-back, Christopher Schindler, the first name that we wrote down when we were putting this team together. Shindy's been an absolute rock since he arrived in the summer of 2016. He scored the winning penalty that took Town up. He won the Fans Player of the Year in both of Town's Premier League seasons, and he's a true leader on and off the pitch. Partnering Christopher Schindler, we've got Peter Clark. He was appointed captain almost as soon as he arrived in 2009, and he skippered the team through the majority of that 43-game unbeaten league run in 2011 and in two playoff finals, the one in 2011 and the victorious one in League One in 2012 that took Town up to the Championship. He also bookends the decade neatly with Schindler, having won the Fans Player of the Year 2 years in a row in 2010 and 2011. And another easy pick at left back here, Chris Lerver, the undisputed choice. He was Mr. Reliable throughout his 101 appearances for the club over 3 seasons. It's a pity he had to leave earlier this summer, with the club honouring a gentleman's agreement to allow him to return to Germany. Now moving on into the midfield, and on the right wing, we've got Gary Roberts, a near constant and hugely popular presence in the side that challenged for and eventually achieved promotion from League One, although he was actually released after coming on as a sub and tucking away his penalty in the 2012 playoff final. He scored a very respectable 39 goals in his 192 appearances for the club. Now in central midfield, we've got Aaron Moy, who is quite possibly the classiest footballer Huddersfield Town have ever had. The Australian was a revelation for David Wagner's side when he arrived on loan in 2016, and the move was made permanent the following year after he played a huge part in getting Town promoted. Moy proved his Premier League quality during Town's 2 difficult seasons in the top flight, and his undoubted quality on the ball often overshadows his hard work off it, but Town fans know just how valuable he is. More than perhaps anyone else in this team, it's unlikely that Town ever would have made it to the top flight without Aaron Moy. Sitting at the base of the midfield, we of course have Jonathan Hogg, a man who's never knowingly shied away from a battle, as he's racked up over 200 appearances for the club since joining from Watford in 2013. As we mentioned earlier, he could well overtake Alex Smithies as Town's most selected player of the decade by the time 2019 is out. Hoggy does an awful lot of unselfish, dirty work in midfield that allows others ahead of him to shine, and you have to have that in a team. We couldn't overlook him. Our third central midfielder is Adam Clayton. When we were putting this list together, one of the people I spoke to said it's hard to know where to put him because he basically did the job of a 3-man midfield by himself. That about says it all for the 2013-14 Player of the Year, who scored 12 goals in 94 appearances during his 2 years at the club between 2012 and 2014 to help establish newly promoted Town as a Championship side. And also, just look at that beard. He deserves to be in the team for that alone, surely. More than just a scorer of brilliant goals, Anthony Pilkington takes a place on the left wing, although he was certainly a scorer of brilliant goals. The League One Arjen Robben had 2 excellent feet and could cross as well as he could shoot, earning him a move straight up to the Premier League with Norwich in the summer of 2011. It's just a shame we never got to see Pilks play in the Championship. And of course there's only one option up front, it had to be Jordan Rhodes. He came in 2009 when he was just 19 and was tasked with filling the sizable boots of Andy Booth. Metaphorically speaking, I don't know if Andy Booth has particularly big feet. I'll ask him next time I see him. Rhodes actually proved a hugely worthy successor to Andy Booth though, with an uncanny knack for finding himself in the right place at the right time and an unerring finishing ability. Rhodes is Town's 8th highest ever goal scorer with 87 goals in 148 appearances, including a frankly ridiculous 40 in 45 in 2011-12, and he's far and away the most prolific striker the Terriers have had in the 2010s. We hope you enjoyed our team of the decade. Hopefully not too many disagreements there. Hit us up on Twitter if you do disagree though. We're at ExaminerHTAFC or I'm at Stephen Chicken, Stephen with a V. And make sure you hit subscribe below to make sure you're the first one to know about any new videos that we release here on our YouTube channel.